Hi, welcome back. This is G-Man, My World 67. Well, hope everybody's having a good day today. This July the 18th. Got the Canadian Pacific here. This is another Canadian Pacific. I've got 2 or 3 of these. This one needs a motor, needs to be repainted, needs quite a bit of work. The finials are good. The sand dome cap is in good shape. It's got one little place right there. So I'll probably just go ahead and restore this. But that was not the nature of this video today. The nature of this video today was I got a message from my friend Kent Poole, and Kent wanted to know how to do these clearance lights, how I made the clearance lights for the U.S. Army 500 Canadian Pacific. And so they're not exactly like the Marx, although once you've made it, you can take your Dremel, if you have one, and you can cut a couple of notches in it, and it'll work out to be very similar to what they did. I didn't do that with mine. I just went ahead and made them, and that's what I'm going to do today. Usually when I have only one of these missing, usually I try to see if I can locate another one and just go ahead and replace the one. Usually if they're both missing, or if I do want to replace one, I'll do 2 and replace both of them. And I may do that, but for all purposes, right now, I'm just going to make the clearance light so that you can see how it's done. Okay, first of all, you need to measure this hole, and this hole is about 1/4 inch. Try to do this so you can see it. Just about 1/4 inch, a little more. And well, it's almost a half. So not quite half. Maybe 3/8 of an inch. And you measure that, and then what I do, I'm going to have to set this camera down so you can see. Hope it's going to work okay. Get it a little more. There we go. What I do is measure that hole, and then I get a piece of aluminum or a piece of tin, whatever you have. I prefer aluminum, and like I always say, it's good to have just a piece of thin sheet aluminum around, or if you've got any old aluminum siding, just cut you up some of it and you'll have it made. So I'm not going to actually measure this, but let me show you an easy way to do it. I know most of us already know. And just take it and mark it. Now I mark it just a little bit longer than the hole. The reason for that being that I want a little bit hanging over each end, each edge. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Now your first cut's just to get it separated from the rest of the metal. And you'll see it's just a little bit wider than the hole. Okay. Now these clearance lights actually come down, fit down in the hole. And so what I do next is, in order to get that bend, I'll take a paint stick handle or a nail, like a number 6, and I'll bend that over the handle. And then I'll get a pair of needle nose pliers. And when I bend it over the handle, I bend it over so that I have enough down at the bottom that it actually overlaps the handle, so that I can bend these together like this. Now it's better, maybe I will. I'll put a little more bend in it than that. Straighten that back out a little bit. Get another paint brush. I dropped that one. Okay, bend it over. That's better. So that it overlaps quite a bit. And take your needle nose pliers and put it as close to your paint handle as you can. You don't want to go up your paint handle too far. You want to stay back towards the narrow end of your paint handle and let the metal, as you bend it together, pick up that shape. Squeeze it together as tight as you can. Now it has that shape of that paint handle. That's good and tight. And that'll give you that effect. Now, what I'm going to do is cut off. Having trouble with my carpet down here. And then now dropped it down in the trash again. Okay, I'm going to cut off this extra, not this portion, but this extra piece that's not doubled over. We're going to cut that off. And then we see, I don't know if you can tell it or not, but because the handle was wider on one end and narrower on the other end, there's a little differentiation in one end from the other. One end's a little smaller than the other. Now, there's not a whole lot, but it's just a little bit. And that's the way this clearance light is if you look at it real close. Now, you don't have to do this, but then I'll take and I'll cut that at an angle like that so that it's not completely straight across. And if you notice, I leave just a little bit down here in the bottom. Now, what are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to reopen it. And take a little standard screwdriver, reopen it. And then you're going to cut just a little bit off of this end. Just a teensy weensy little bit. You're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Turn it over. Cut just a little bit off of it. Get up as close to where it bends as you can. Okay. If you've got it cut, it should just fall on out of there. There we go. Now you can use wire cutters to do this. And it'll work just as well. I didn't get that cut through very good. There we go. Can you see that? And then just snip it out of there. Do the same thing on the back side. And you don't have to worry about how wide you leave the centerpiece if you cut your ends off, but you want enough left on there to fold back inside. You do the same on this side. Okay, these become your tabs. And why do you need tabs? Well, once you stick this down inside of here,